Right guys, so today for our masala chicken, we're going to need some chicken. Obviously, I'm using a full chicken, just the legs and the breast and the wings. I'm not using any of the back. You can do, I guess, if you like to, but I'm not going to today. Right, I've got a full head of garlic, about the same quantity of ginger, 3 bay leaves, 4 or 5 chilies, depending on how hot you like your food. We've got about 8 medium tomatoes here, but you can use about 6 bigger ones. Some cumin seeds, whole. I've got 5 onions. I'm gonna use some turmeric powder, some coriander powder, cumin powder, and salt. Also, I'm gonna use a little bit of oil, and we've got some rice for later on. And I'm using a food processor, but it's not necessary. You can just cut your tomatoes and your onions with the knife. Just they need to be really small. Right, so I'm starting by processing the onions first. I'm only using 4 out of the 5. One we're gonna keep for the rice later on. Okay, switch the gas on. Add about 2-3 tablespoons, sorry, of oil. I'm using olive oil, but you don't need to. You can use any other oil. And just let it heat up. Right, so when the oil is hot enough, you just add your onions, and it's going to take a couple of minutes. Stir it once in a while until it gets brownish. In the meantime, you can add your garlic to the food processor or chop it with a knife, as I said. You can use a grater for the ginger, as you don't want any ginger strings in your mouth. I don't like it quite big, so right, so when you've added the ginger and garlic to your food processor, this would be the time that you would add the chilies to it as well. But me cooking for little children in the house as well, which they cannot take the chilies, I'm going to add it later on when I separate the masala. Right, so when your onions look about like this, it's just a light brown. Now it's time to add your garlic and ginger. At this point, don't forget to put your heat down a bit, as you don't want it to burn. Right, so I've just added the ginger and the garlic. Put the heat down and just leave it for 2 minutes, I would say. No more than that. Now it's time to add your dry masalas. So I'm gonna use 2 teaspoons of salt. You can always add more later if you need to. Like 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder. 2 big teaspoons of cumin powder. And 2 teaspoons of coriander powder. Right, give it a stir now and let it cook for another minute or so. Right, this is how it looks like now after we've added the dry masalas and just gave it a stir. In the meantime, you can process your tomatoes. If you are using a food processor, obviously just chop them enough for them to go in. You don't need to rinse the processor, well, you know, if you've used the garlic and the ginger, because it goes in the same pan anyway. tomatoes are done now, so you just add them to the pan. Give it a good stir, and then we're gonna cover it up and just let it simmer until it all reduces to a thick paste. Make sure you are stirring it once in a while, as you don't want to stick into the bottom. Right, once you cover it up, you can put the heat back to a medium and just let it simmer. Right, so this is how it has to look like. You would know it's ready when you see the oil coming up to the surface. So now the masala is cooked. You see how thick it is comparing to the way it was when we've added the tomatoes. Right, so now because I've already taken some of the sauce out for the kids, as I said, we're gonna get ours ready. So what you do, you put a pan with a little bit of oil. You don't need a lot. I've chopped my chilies, but as I said to you, if you don't cook for any kids, you normally would put it into the food processor with the garlic and ginger. Let the oil heat up. Yeah. When your oil is hot enough, you add the chilies and you just let them cook for about a minute. When your chilies are done, you're going to add them to the main dish. The chilies are strong. Smell is gone right up my nose. Okay. You can add the bay leaves now. And add the chicken. Give it a good stir. When your chicken is coated nicely with the sauce, you can add a little bit of water. I would say probably a glass or two. Right, so this is how it looks like after I added the water in consistency. So it's still quite a thick sauce, but it's got enough juice to cook into and not stick. So adjust the water to how much you think it needs to, depending on how much chicken you use. Right, when you've done this, just cover it up and let it simmer for, I would say, another half an hour. Just check it once in a while to make sure it's got enough liquid. Right, so whilst the chicken is cooking, I'm gonna get the rice ready. I've chopped the onions. You can do yours however you prefer, big or small. I like mine quite chunky, so I'm using 1 cup of rice, and I'm gonna let it soak for about 15 to 20 minutes whilst the chicken is cooking. And I'm adding 3 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. I'm using the kettle, but it's cold water, it's easier for me to pour. Right, so chicken is almost ready. Now it's time to get the rice. So add a little bit of oil in your pan. Let the oil heat up. Add onions. Let them brown a little bit. Right, when your onions have softened a little bit and they've got a little bit of color, add about a teaspoon of cumin seeds. Let it cook for another minute or so. I've rinsed the rice off and I've changed the water. I put exactly the same amount of water like before, so 3 cups of water to 1 cup of rice, and you add that to the onion. Okay, give it a quick stir. Cover it up and let it cook for another 20 minutes or so. Right, when the water started to boil, add some salt. And cover it again. Right, our rice is ready, as you can see, and the chicken as well. And the way you can tell the chicken is done is because the oil comes back to the surface. So put a little bit of rice on the plate. Add a little bit of chicken and some juice. Can garnish it with a little bit of fresh coriander. And serve it with naan, pita or chapatis and a bit of side salad. Try it, tell me what you think, and if you like it, don't forget to comment, give me any suggestion or what else you would like to see me cooking. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on new recipes. Thank you.